Sakurai rejoined the group, explaining that the mysterious post had appeared only the day before, leaving MC troubled as he recalled Hinagi insisting she had already broken things off with that senior student, while Mio dismissed the entire situation as an obvious prank. Kamishiro, however, grew anxious. Hinagi should have arrived at school by then. The others tried to calm her, suggesting Hinagi was simply absent, but Mo only grew angrier, calling Hinagi's actions ridiculous before demanding MC decide what he planned to do about it. Then MC stood and boldly declared that the culprit was in the room, stunning everyone into silence before Kamishiro scolded him for joking at a time like this. Yet MC couldn't shake the feeling that the real culprit wasn't in class, and Hinagi, with no enemies or history of bullying, seemed unlikely to be targeted without reason. When MC suggested they ask Hinagi directly, Mana begged him to go, the entire class pressuring him as the one person Hinagi could depend on. With no escape, MC was sent out, printouts shoved into his hands by classmates and even the teacher, Fujishiro, who unhelpfully demanded he buy her coffee with only 40 yen. As MC walked, he realized he was near Hinagi's home, the very place he had been forbidden to visit. Inside, Hinagi's mother, Akane, paused her kitchen work when the doorbell rang. Upon seeing her, MC bowed deeply, offering a gift and nervously greeting her, admiring her beauty and hastily explaining that his homeroom teacher had forced this visit upon him. He promised he would never break the vow he once made and begged for forgiveness, repeating that she looked as lovely as ever before attempting to flee in embarrassment, only for Akane to stop him gently, thanking him for the printouts and the gift, admitting she hadn't expected him. He repeated that he had refused but was pushed into it, still bound by that old promise. Akane smiled softly, accepting his reasoning, choosing not to ask the question lingering on her lips as she reassured him that Hinagi would likely return to school tomorrow and he wouldn't need to deliver anything again. MC nodded and stepped away, unaware that behind the closing door, Akane wished he had come because he cared, because if he had said he was worried about Hinagi, she would have happily welcomed him inside. Just as Akane stepped back inside, the small gift MC had given her slipped from her hands, a silent reminder of the painful truth, that he had not come by choice, despite once being her daughter's closest friend, and her heart twisted with the belief that all this turmoil was Hinagi's doing, that perhaps her daughter deserved the consequences of shutting herself away. She wished MC would say he wanted to help Hinagi, to protect her, not for obligation, but because he cared, just a simple reassurance that would soothe a parent's pride. Long ago, Akane had told MC never to visit again, and he had obeyed without protest, letting go of everything with a quiet resignation that only deepened her guilt now as she wondered what disaster at school had driven Hinagi, who had only recently begun to smile again, to barricade herself inside her room. Before she could sink further into worry, her younger daughter, Hayari, burst outside and wrapped MC in an enthusiastic hug, cheerfully insisting she had missed him and proudly admitting she had followed him because she could feel his presence. He teased her about being some sort of martial arts master, but her innocence faded when she asked why he hadn't gone to see Hinagi in her room. Unable to reveal his ban, MC simply muttered that he couldn't just walk into a girl's room, which Hayari dismissed as ridiculous. He was always welcome. She confided that Hinagi seemed to be in pain, refusing to come out for so long that it frightened her, then abruptly called her sister an idiot for causing trouble, but still begged MC to help her, insisting he was the only one Hinagi trusted and that he needed to speak to her, just once more. MC hesitated, saying it might not be what Hinagi wanted, but Hayari fiercely rejected the idea, claiming Hinagi had always loved him, and MC froze as he remembered Hinagi once saying those very words, before Hayari cheekily added that he loved Hinagi too, squeezing him hard before dashing away with a mischievous smile, turning to wave at him from afar as he wondered how someone so blunt could be an even greater threat than her older sister. That night, MC tried to drown his guilt in schoolwork, but the thought of Hinagi's isolation gnawed at him until he finally grabbed his phone, convincing himself this was only for Hayari's sake, that he was simply acting like a responsible big brother, and he dialed Hinagi. When she answered, exhaustion muted her voice, prompting him to say firmly that she needed help, and when she questioned him, he vowed he would fix everything within a week, so long as she returned to school the next day. Leaving Hinagi quietly asking him the question he most feared, why he was doing this at all. MC reminded Hinagi gently that if she was hurting or needed help, he could never understand unless she let him in, that she didn't have to shoulder everything alone when her family and friends were aching with worry for her, and at those words, tears slipped down her cheeks as she confessed she had decided not to repeat her past mistakes. Just the day before, someone had confessed to her, and she turned him down honestly because she refused to lie to herself anymore. She wanted to stay by MC's side, to support him without pretending, because all she truly wanted was to be with him. With trembling breath, Hinagi asked whether MC would still help her if she really were the kind of girl the rumors claimed she was, and MC, taken aback, asked if it mattered at all, sending Hinagi into a choked, desperate sob as she cried that she didn't want to be seen like that anymore, didn't want to be shackled to the past, didn't want to lose MC again. She screamed that she didn't want to live as someone shallow and worthless, that she would grow stronger and see things through even if she was fragile, that maybe hopes and expectations didn't often come true and maybe she had given up too many times before, but just this once she wanted MC to help her. Silence smothered the line, and Hinagi begged him to say something, anything, yet all he could manage was a strained wish for her to rest and get better soon, because from the moment she let go of his hand, he had believed the distance between them would never close again. The next morning, the school corridors buzzed with electric whispers, eyes locked on screens as Myo paled at the new post that had erupted online. The supposed culprit behind the malicious rumors about Hinagi Suzurikawa was none other than MC himself. The crowd murmured cruel speculation, that he was just a childhood friend who'd been dumped, that maybe spite twisted him, that he must be even worse considering what people said about his own sister, while Kamishiro murmured that even for someone like MC, this went too far. Then MC walked into the room with his usual loud greeting, only for Myo to thrust the screen into his face as Mina vowed she would never forgive whoever dared to frame him. When MC finally processed what was written, he blurted out his denial, just as Hinagi appeared at the doorway, tears streaming as she stared at him, and shame crashed over him so hard he fled the classroom while his stunned friends muttered that he was a complete idiot. They watched his retreating back, unsure what to do next, as Kamishiro admitted he'd never seen MC look so genuinely shaken, until Myo's eyes suddenly widened with realization. MC was far too mentally strong to be surprised by a rumor online. That panicked reaction had been a glaringly obvious act. Myo turned to Hinagi for confirmation, but she was too overwhelmed to speak, until she forced herself to breathe, remembering MC's earnest plea not to shoulder everything alone, to rely on the people who cared about her. She understood that what she was about to do would shatter MC's plan and betray the resolve he had shown for her sake, yet she refused to let him bear her suffering anymore and vowed to stand stronger. With a trembling bow, Hinagi apologized to the class and asked everyone to listen, declaring that she would no longer return to those painful days, that she would move forward into a future where she confronted the truth instead of hiding. Still, rumors about MC only multiplied, painting him as a heartless creep who posted lies then ran away, accusing him of ridiculous petty habits like hoarding convenience store bags and having an obsession with sweets. Nonsense so exaggerated that even Myo, sitting nearby, wondered if people were just running out of intel. Suddenly the door burst open as Myo stormed out, leaving confused faces in his wake, right as MC began laughing to himself, prompting his friend to snap that laughing manically with a dead expression was disgusting, but MC insisted he couldn't help it because the absurdity was too much. For an entire week he had been fueling the fire, spreading malicious rumors about himself day after day, night after night, turning himself into the #1 scumbag at school until everyone recoiled from him again. And strangely, he welcomed it. Isolation was familiar, safe, and most importantly, by replacing Hinagi's scandal with his own downfall, he had successfully diverted the spotlight, his anonymity letting him shoulder the blame in her place. But that fragile operation crumbled the moment Mihara Shuichi kicked open the classroom door and shouted MC's name, fury propelling him forward as he grabbed MC by the collar, ready to punch. Because one of MC's self-targeted rumors had involved Satu Koharu, a girl Mihara had once meant the world to. Mihara, once the rising star of the track team, faked an injury when he hit his limit and quit, but Satu had admired him as her hero and hoped he would stay the cool, unstoppable boy she believed in, so when he confessed to Hinagi instead, Satu panicked, desperate to keep him from slipping away, and although her actions led to chaos, guilt consumed her until she ran to MC in tears to apologize for everything. It must have been terrifying for Satu to watch an innocent bystander like MC dragged into a storm of slander for her sake, and the guilt nearly drove her to formally apologize to him face to face. Yet as MC listened, he realized he couldn't allow the situation to end with a single tearful confession, nor could he let anyone else be hurt because of her desperation, so he crafted a brutal solution. He painted himself as the villain, spread vicious rumors about his own reputation, and even fabricated a lie that Satu was being threatened by him, an act so effective that Mihara, desperate to protect the girl who still mattered to him, now stood before MC with fury burning in his eyes, even if distance and silence had grown between them over the years. MC only smiled, leaning in with a devilish whisper that Mihara's girl shed tears beautifully, fuel on a fire already raging, because if someone had to be hated for all of this, it should be him, the supposed root of every rumor and every wound. Mihara's fist surged forward, and MC welcomed the punishment like a martyr, but just as the blow was about to land, Suda burst into the classroom, screaming for Mihara to stop, breaking down as she confessed she couldn't bear the weight of lies anymore. Stunned, Mihara immediately apologized, dropping to his knees before MC with Suda beside him, and MC could only sit stiffly as both bowed their heads in remorse, an outcome he hadn't predicted, yet one that fulfilled his intent, because if Suda had been forgiven only by Hinagi, she would have carried guilt forever, so bringing Mihara into the light was necessary. The childhood friends exchanged a fragile smile, as though rediscovering something they thought they had lost, right before Myo's exasperated voice cut through the silence, demanding MC explain everything from the beginning. MC straightened, letting a cold seriousness replace his usual dry detachment as he declared that this had been his revenge against Hinagi, earning a scoff and an irritated eye roll from Myo, who accused him of lying to himself and to all of them, of pretending he could always handle everything alone. And though MC accepted they might never forgive the ugliness of his method, he stressed that its benefit was undeniable. If he framed his actions as the petty retaliation of a boy scorned, the rumors would lose their power and Hinagi's past would remain forever out of reach, and still, he wasn't finished, because he had one more request for Mihara. Mihara demanded that MC ask him for anything. If it was within his power, he would make it happen, and so MC requested that he rejoin the track and field club, leaving Mia stunned as she wondered just how far MC's schemes could go. But MC clarified with chilling calm that this was no act of kindness. Among all the sports clubs, track and field was the most aggressive with recruitment, and he simply devised a plan to use the ever-capable Mihara Shuichi as a convenient decoy, ensuring Mihara and Suda would be left in peace while MC, infamous and avoided, could finally reclaim the quiet, introverted existence he longed for, a masterstroke of social maneuvering, 5 problems solved in one ruthless move, the kind of resilience forged from a mind as hard as orichalcum. Of course, his teacher had harsh words for him afterward, and later that day MC stumbled across Hinagi in a secluded room, asking if she wasn't heading home yet and casually calling her Suzuchi, a nickname that only provoked her irritation as she warned him not to call her strange names. She explained that someone was waiting for her, prompting MC to guess it was a meeting, and he advised her to head home before it got too late, until she quietly revealed that he was the one she had been waiting for. She thanked him, though MC insisted all he ever did was make people hate him, only for Hinagi to respond with startling honesty that she did hate him, leaving him frozen. He admitted he hated himself too for the awful things he had done to her, things that were now locked in the past where no one could hurt her anymore. But he should have understood earlier what terrified her, and instead he had abandoned her. He could never be someone like Mihara. Turning toward the door, MC told her she would be fine, that someone worthy of her would appear soon, because she walked in the light while someone as bleak and tarnished as him could never stand beside her. There was a place where she belonged, and it was not with him. Yet before he could take another step, Hinagi caught him and pulled him into a sudden kiss, telling him his assumptions were far from the truth. Once, he had always been by her side, but now he stood impossibly distant, unreachable. She confessed that on that dreadful day long ago, the light within her had gone out, and she had been chasing the warmth that only he once gave her. Why did he think she chose the same school as him? It was because of his mother, Yuri, who sent her here. His voice caught at the mere mention of her name as Hinagi, steady and unwavering, invited him to her home. Seeing her resolve, he questioned what lay before him. He didn't know, but Suzukawa Hinagi was unwaveringly sure. And so, under the quiet veil of night, MC found himself standing in her room for the first time in years, gazing around as he asked how long it had been since he'd last crossed that threshold. Hinagi quietly replied that it had been 3 years, a simple truth that instantly flooded MC's mind with memories of what they once were and everything that had fractured since, and she agreed that much had changed. He then nervously asked about her parents, certain that her mother would be furious to discover he had already visited twice, only for Hinagi to state with disarming bluntness that her mother was home right now, sending MC into silent panic with no choice but to trust Hinagi completely. She thanked him for coming, though MC insisted he was only there because she asked, and when he gently questioned what exactly she wanted from him, Hinagi remembered her sister's probing accusation about the rumors circling around her. She stepped closer, telling MC to listen because there was something she needed to say, something she could only express if he truly looked at her. Then, with unwavering resolve, she began to undress, shedding each layer until she stood bare before him. And MC was left frozen, stunned beyond words, his breath caught somewhere between disbelief and the weight of everything left unspoken.